people out there, the countless people out there that just struggling with their mental health. Actually, no, not even struggling with their mental health any longer. Just who had a history of mental health struggles. They may be better now. They may have it under control, or they may not. But they just want to be a voice and share their experiences. They just want to come on and tell people what they've been through. Because most of the time, you never know who's listening. Somebody may, accidentally, find a podcast because that happens a lot. They might just, you know, pick a random episode and start listening to it. And, you never know what you may hear. I know just as a person who runs the podcast, there's been several, almost every single one of them I got something out of, I can relate to, or somebody might say something or talk about something that I really had no clue about. And, it helps me out, or it gives me like just hope. That's the key word, hope, a lot of times. And that's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to give people out there hope that, is out there struggling. Because I know at one point in time, man, when I didn't know what to do about 2, 3 years ago, when I was going through my severe anxiety and depression, I didn't know what to do. And this podcast has been my savior. So, I'm just trying to be a savior for all the people out there, or, just an outlet. And so that's what I'm striving to do. And that's what we're going to do in this episode. I'm joined by a gentleman by the name of Jontel, and he's going to open up about his history with bipolar 2 disorder, depression, anxiety, and PTSD, and just give us some insight on what he's been dealing with. And also, he's going to talk about, and I know for me, I had to do the same thing. Like, he's going to talk about when he was diagnosed with these mental health disorders, he had to get away from his family or find like-minded people who understood what he was going through, and people who wanted to talk about it and be a support system. And so sometimes, you might want to confide in a love. It ain't even got to be a family member. It can be a friend, family, whoever it may be. Sometimes they're not understanding what you're going through. Some people don't want to hear what you're going through. They want you just to shut up and just move on with your life, man. Let it go. And then you got to seek out, people, like-minded people who've been through what you're going through right now, and can give you some feedback and have a support system. People who know exactly what you're going through. So he's going to open up about that. I know I did that before when I started doing this podcast. I started connecting with a lot of people whose experiences have been similar to mine. And man, I tell you guys, man, it has helped me out a million times over. Like I was talking about it yesterday, man. I'm a better person from this podcast. So I understand exactly what he's going through. And the title of this episode is going to be The Battle with Burlinda. And you're going to see why he talks about the battle with Burlinda. It's a unique, it's rather unique. You'll see why. So, Jontel, thank you. I really appreciate you opening up and talking about what you've been through and being a voice for mental health. As for me, I just keep doing what I do, you guys, coming out here or coming on here and just giving an outlet. Also, I want to ask anybody out there, I know this might be a random thought, but I want to do some episodes on sleep paralysis. I know that's random. I think it's like interconnected with mental health. I'm pretty sure it is. My wife, she suffers with sleep paralysis every now and then, and we've been having a conversation about it. And she's trying to get a better, feel for what it is and what she need to do. And I've just been thinking about, like, having some people come on and talk about their experiences with sleep paralysis, because I know it can be a scary thing. And I'm pretty sure it's all linked with your mental health and all of that, and stress levels and whatever you're going through. So I just want to do some episodes on that, just because I know that's a scary ass thing to go through. My wife told me about her experiences, and my God, I'm pretty sure I experienced it once or twice in my life. But for a person who's constantly going through it, I know it can be a frightful occurrence. So I want to do some things on that. But yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna sit here and talk all day. Let's jump into this very insightful, great episode with Jontel. Jontel, once again, thank you, and thank you all, Anxious World, for tuning in. I'll be back next week. Appreciate it.
Hey, my name is Jontel Toland. I run a independent media outlet called the Leon Block. Um, and I mean, it's a number of things, but one of the things I do like to talk about is mental health, because I do and always have for as long as I can think of dealt with issues surrounding mental health, and seeing no one else around me really talk about it, and getting to a place where like I had to get away from family members just so that I could find people that did let me talk about those kinds of things, you know. Um, I was diagnosed by a family doctor of having bipolar disorder 2, um, depression and anxiety, but I know I deal with PTSD as well, and some trauma from past things that I've done and suffered from and whatnot. But uh, I'm in the process of seeing a psychiatrist at some point so that I can figure out exactly what is going on, and perhaps maybe find other medication uh, or the right kind of mixture, or you know, set that is right for me, or maybe just I need therapy. I don't know. But I've been on therapy for a year now, actually. A year and a week ago, I went into the mental hospital for um, really just, it's a long story, but it was something I definitely uh, utilized, and it was worth it for the time that I was there. It's a few days, but I had a moment of clarity and a moment to like reset. And I was already on medication prior to that, but starting therapy at that point and now being in therapy for a year really helped. Cutting out cigarettes, now being on have quit cigarettes for a year really helped. Uh, my overall experience with um, the three, uh, I have come to separate them in a sense of like me as Jontel, and the core of who I am without all of those disorders is Jontel, but all of those things I label her Burlinda. And Burlinda comes out at different moments. It can be when it's like hypomanic and I'm just feeling on top of the world, and just so much good stuff, and I get that those panic attacks, but it's like adrenaline at the same time, and I'm just very full of myself, and it's very, part of me doesn't like it, but at the same time I don't half the time really realize that I'm going through it. I'm learning to analyze and kind of pinpoint things and know how to respond accordingly to it. But overall, throughout my whole life, it has definitely been a struggle. Depression has really been a struggle throughout my whole life, and even still to this day, especially in the wintertime. Uh, and I'm starting to, because of therapy, realize like the different tools that I have to change these things, and then the things that I did to, that Burlinda said and whispered in my ear that I went and listened to, you know, instead of like not and propelling forward, you know. And therapy has really, really helped a lot, especially being a Black man and having a Black woman as a therapist. It's the best thing in the world. I feel so validated. I feel understood. I feel seen. I feel heard. And it's something I really encourage other people to really do. And it's through video chat. So I never even met her. I've never seen her in person. I don't need to. I don't think I ever want to at this point. I like it the way it is. I like being able to just, it's comfortable. I can sit in my room, in my bed, and just chill and talk to her, you know? And she helps me organize my thoughts and reminds me of the things that I already know inside. I just needed somebody to confirm it for me, or reaffirm it for me, or validate me. We all need to feel validated, especially as Black people, especially as Black men. We really need to feel validated, and it's okay to talk about your feelings. And I spent so much of my life not being able to talk about my feelings that now it's like an explosion to talk about my feelings. I got a fucking show talking about my feelings, you know? But I think it's important for everybody to have therapy and that person to have that outlet too, to let all of that stuff out. But then you also have physical ways of outlets. For me, I mean, I dance. I love to just chill and vibe out to music and sing at the top of my lungs. I take lots of baths. I meditate. I listen to mantras, meditation music, affirmations, music that has a lot of affirmations and mantras in it so that I'm singing things that make me feel good. And the more that I repeat those things, the more that I'm thinking about it and the better I end up feeling. And I'm generally always an optimistic person, but then I have those moments of breakdown, you know, where I just can't take anymore. And during those times I've learned to embrace that, feel it, and then let it go. Not like sulk in it and just like the more that you think about it, the more that it will perpetuate. So like I try to like work through it and then taper off when I feel like the time is it's done, you know. But I'm also trying to do things in the midst of that to make sure that it doesn't last. I think that's also a key. I think it's important to give grace. I always stress that to people myself is like giving grace to yourself is the best thing that you can do because you're your own critic and no one else knows how to take care of you but you. No one knows you best but you. And if you don't really know yourself, it's up to you to figure that out. And you need as much peace, love, and space to be able to do that. You can't you have to fill up your own cup. And there's so many ways of doing that, whether it's like good food or medication therapy, um, going out for a run, going hiking. It doesn't matter, but fill up your own cup and you can do it. Like love comes from within you and just really doing things, different things, I think. Change is what sparks like, you know, new growth and that uncomfortability may be hard, but I think that that's part of the key is the uncomfortability and doing things that you normally wouldn't do. Just try them uh, and see if it shocks you into feeling something different or feeling something for once, not feeling numb, because that's a big thing. You know what I mean? Do things that shock you out of that numbness and break that hard soil up so that you can till it and plant in it again. You know, like I've come to do things that shock me. If I'm tired and I want to fall asleep and I know that I shouldn't just because I'm so depressed, I do something, even if it's the smallest thing, like taking a fucking bath because I have taken a shower, not a bath because bath is like meditation. But taking a shower and waking myself up and actually cleaning myself because I've been so depressed. I've been in bed for days and days. You know what I mean? Like just saying, all right, I'm going to shock myself into do something. I'm going to cook something today. I don't feel like it, but you know, I'm gonna cook anyway. And I'm gonna do my best to throw some love into that food. And I'm gonna throw on some music and I'm gonna dance while I'm gonna do it. And it may feel weird, it may feel uncomfortable at first, but I'm gonna fucking do it. I don't care if it feels weird. It's gonna feel weird at first, but I'm gonna do it because I don't want to continue to feel this way. And I've learned to know that those times will come, but I ride those waves and I embrace those waves as they come. You might get a little wet, but that storm doesn't last forever. And that's like the way that I continue to look at it and the way that I keep telling myself good things. The more that you tell yourself good things, I think the more that your mind will eventually cease to say those bad things in the back in your head. They'll fade way to the background. I just I love myself and I want to let everyone else know that they can love themselves and accept themselves for who they are too. And I think that that's part of like that key to happiness is self-love and acceptance of yourself, like fully, you know. Um, yeah, I I'm Jontel. I've run the Leon block, and search me on any of the major platforms: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And I talk about all kinds of issues, but one thing that is really near and dear to my heart is anything related around mental health issues, people getting slain by police under a mental health episode, especially things concerning Black men. And we need to be very progressive and preventative and proactive concerning mental health and making sure that we are as healthy as possible. And part of that does have to do with diet. So, when you eat better, you can think better, you're clearer headed. And I try to be very mindful of that myself. I try not to be preachy, but I just also want to talk about what works best for me in hopes that someone else can pick up on that and put it down and really apply it themselves. Because it's important to uplift one another. And I think being selfless also helps self. So those are some of my experiences and tips, I guess I would say. I really just make sure that I get as much fresh air as possible. I get out in the sunlight as much as possible. I talk to friends as much as possible. When I'm feeling really, 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 really low, I reach out to people. I tend to shut down, and I'm trying my best to get out of that habit and create new ones. Like, if I feel like I'm shutting down, I reach out to someone automatically. And my mind will tell me, that person doesn't want to speak to you. That person doesn't like you. That person is talking shit on you behind your back. But that's Burlinda saying that. That's not me. And I know that that person loves me, and they want me to reach out to them when I'm going through a hard time. So I move past that. I reach past that, and I say, okay, I need to feel validated. How can I feel validated? But again, I have therapy once a week. So a lot of that I can write down now and then do a video thing, or anything, just getting it out in some way and sending it to my therapist, even if it's not the day that I'm actually having therapy. And that makes me feel really comfortable and safe, knowing that there's somewhere I can let that out and it's understood and it's interpreted and made note of and sent back to me in a way that I can calmly think about. And even just getting it out lets out that exhalation and really gets you to find relief as it is, So that's important too. I just wanted to say that depression and other mental health issues can be a real bitch. It can be really tough, and you can be in a really deep, dark place, and it's hard. And then you throw financial factors in, money, food, kids, being in a really hostile environment, not having loving people around you. Like, I don't have kids. I don't have a significant other. I'm by myself. And sometimes it's hard, but I do have people around me that love me. And I'm in a good, positive environment. So that helps. And I do things to make sure that I stay in a positive environment. I work on a farm sometimes, and that really is very healing, working with a bunch of different herbs and plants and roots. And I take home a lot of organic stuff that also really helps me. So if you're into that kind of thing, I would say that's beneficial too. Yeah.